Time to dig into the fascia application. Fascia is, I believe, overlooked way too often, and it's an area that we can do so much about so easily. Let's talk a little bit about fascia first. It consists of these strong collagen fibers, kind of wraps all the way around muscles, and then it turns into the muscle tendons. It's an extremely important thing to start wrapping your own brain around. Every part of the horse is connected by the fascia. And when the fascia starts to get beat up, distorted, and you can feel it as you're running your hand over the body, the striations and irregularities, and you're going to see some great videos showing how healthy fascia looks, and all of this stuff, it stops the horse from being able to function the way he or she should be able to function. When fascia is healthy, it allows that skin to glide over the fascia, and then the muscle to glide underneath the fascia, and then the tendons and ligaments to be able to do the same thing. And so we have designed a great application that helps the fascial restrictions. It helps decrease the friction. When it gets injured or distorted, it creates friction. And so this wonderful application helps reduce that friction and smooth the fascia out. I love using the visual of, consider fascia like your necklace that you threw in your jewelry box. And then you pull it out and it's all knotted up. Well, you can't just start pulling on it or the knots get worse. You have to slowly start pulling those pieces apart, and then you can undo the knot. And that's what we're going to do coming up. Another great thing about fascia is when it's healthy, it can strengthen the body, support the body, protect the body, insulate the body, and absorb shock. Fascia release. When you think fascia, I want you to think stretch, release, stretch, release. That is how we break up the congestion in the fascia and we get those adhesions and knots to loosen up, and they can go back to their nice, relaxed, smooth state that the fascia should be in. I know I've said it before and I'll say it again. I believe fascia is one of the most overlooked areas of the body, and this is an area we can do a lot with very simply and easy using Equi tape. Today I'm going to show you a fascia release application with one simple piece of tape, and then I'm going to show you a little bit more advanced fascia release technique. So we're going to break into that. Biggest thing that I want you to keep in the back of your mind with fascia is that it does not have to be complicated. It's not overwhelming. The more you know about the fascia, the more you can accomplish. And also knowing where the fascia chains are and where within the muscles there's more fascia. It is important to understand that fascia in a lot of times turns into the tendons and ligaments. And so, especially in some of our muscles like the semistenosis, as the muscle comes down and that fascia is wrapping around the muscle, it then turns into the tendon and ligament. So we really want to get you to start thinking about the possibilities of what you can do with a simple piece of tape and stretch release. Here is a simple fascia taping, one piece of tape with rounded edges, a single strip. I just measured out on the back, super simple. Really, the longissimus dorsi has a lot of fascia that runs through it right here. So this is a great application. You can do muscle relaxation. You can also opt to go into fascia depending on what you're feeling under the surface. Remember, surface preparation is super important. I've already groomed all these horses, but just to bring it to your attention, we're going to go ahead and use our Equi tape towel. If you've got the fundamental kit with it, you're going to get one of these. It's a really great microfiber towel. I love it. I've probably washed this towel 20 times, and it's just still performing so well. So as you use these towels, you'll be able to really get a lot off. And we're in Colorado. These horses are shedding out their winter coats. So it makes a huge difference in the longevity of your tape if you do great surface preparation. So fascia release, super simple. You're going to start with an end application. So you're going to tear it at the end. Always remember the first 2 to 3 inches of the tape have no
stretch on them. So I'm going to lay this piece of tape down. Now, this primary end is also going with the lie of the hair. So I have to do no stretch, no slack to get the right end placement. And you can see how it just sucks right down into the hair. So super important to do that. I like on my fascia applications to really rub and activate the first part of the application so that when I start pulling on the tape, I don't accidentally pull my tape off. So I go ahead and activate that adhesive right away. The first thing I'm going to do is get a fair bit of stretch, lay it down, release my stretch. And this is how you create really good fascia application. It's that stretch, then you're going to lay down with released stretch, and then stretch, release the stretch. Well, now I'm to the end. Secondary end, we're laying against the hair. Let it recoil over your fingers and then gently back it in. I'm not pushing down into the horse, I'm backing the tape in. Secondary end against the lie of the hair. And then with all applications, we lightly yet vigorously rub the application to activate the adhesive. And that is a very simple yet very effective fascia application. So if we're going to do our mock case study, go ahead and do that real quick. Assessment, first step of the modality. The assessment, let's give you a little background real quick. This is a 16-year-old Arabian quarter horse mix. He's a kid's horse and he works, 3 or 4 times a month, whether he needs it or not. So with him, upon our physical evaluation, we felt some fascia tightening through the back. So our application objective is going to be therapeutic. And the application goal. Our goal is to release the tight fascia that we felt along the back. So the goal is fascia release. Application technique was one single strip of tape cut with rounded corners, applied both ends, no stretch, in a stretch release technique. We rubbed our tape lightly yet vigorously to activate the adhesive, and our considerations are leave it on until the fascia feels wonderful underneath. Can repeat this application whenever needed. I would also probably encourage the owner to learn how to do this, as it is a very simple technique and they can do it whenever they felt a little bit of tightening in the back. If he's turned out with other horses, that's something to consider. Time of the year right now, I just told you all it's springtime in Colorado, so maybe take extra special care when you're grooming to shed out as much as possible so your application lasts longer, things like that. So there's your mock case study on fascia release. This is a great application for horses that are in work. Um, I like using this fascia application for horses that happen to be in areas that they need a lot of hind in. So you're talking about anything that has to pivot quite quickly, start quite quickly, or shut down quickly. It's a fascia application. We've already shown you a simple fascia application. This is a little bit more advanced, still done the same way, stretch, release, stretch, release. The difference is I'm using a fan cut instead of one piece. I'm going to tear my tentacles at the backing before I apply my primary end or my anchor piece. And this will just make it easier on me as I do the application. So good tip, do that. I'm gonna pop this backing off so I don't have to go picking at the sticky. And I'm just gonna throw it on anywhere, it's not that big of a deal where you start. The big deal is knowing what's going on within the fascia underneath. And there's a lot of fascia that runs right through here. The more we can make that fascia smooth and do its job the way it's supposed to do, the more these muscles glide underneath and they're able to do their job better. So I'm going to go ahead and just get this primary in on here. Now, again, we're taping against the lie of the hair, so we want to make sure that we get that slack out, so it's no stretch and no slack. And then give it a good little rub at first. Go ahead and activate that adhesive because you are going to be pulling on these tentacles. You don't want to pop your tape off. Super simple. It's stretch, release, stretch, release. I am going to do a bit of a wave pattern at the same time in here. And so I'm going to tell you at first, when I'm going to stretch this first tentacle, I'll stretch it in the straight, release that stretch, curve, no stretch. Stretch it in the straight, release that stretch, curve, no stretch. And then on the ends of the tape, it's always, 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 always no stretch. And I'm going to back it in because I'm going against the lie of the hair. And I will apply all of these tentacles the exact same way. So stretch, straight, release, curve, stretch, straight, release, curve, stretch. And then we've got to the ends, so no stretch. Back it in for that secondary end. Stretch, release, stretch, release. We've gotten to that end, so we don't want to add stretch here. We'll go ahead and just back it in nice and easy. Last tentacle. And you notice that I'm holding down and then just pulling. And that pops my backing off so I don't have to go and touch the sticky. All right, so again, we're going to stretch, release, stretch, release, stretch. Gotten to that end, so we have to stop stretching, back it in. Simple yet very effective fascia application. Give it a light yet vigorous rub. Activate the adhesive. So quick case study. You will be doing fascia to submit your case studies. There's going to need to be one of those. So let's just mock case study. 13-year-old quarter horse gelding, and he is a reining horse. Okay, so assessment, we feel some tight fascia through the hind end. He is in high competition work. And so that's it. That's our assessment. We just feel some tight fascia in here. Okay. Objective, training or therapeutic? Oh no, this is where it can get nutso. You actually can do fascia well in training, right? We know he's in competition. We know he's in work. This will still be very effective for a horse in training. So we're going to go ahead and throw him in the training world and we're going to back it up, right? Here's our assessment. He's working. Here's our objective. He's in training. What is our goal? We want to create nice, beautiful, smooth fascia on the hind end so that his muscles can work harder and do better. So our goal is fascia release. It's still just a fascia release application technique. We used a fan application with four tentacles, cut with rounded corners, applied with the stretch release technique. Rubbed it lightly yet vigorously to activate the adhesive, and that is your application technique. Final considerations, I would say use this once a week until the horse's fascia seems nice, beautiful, and smooth. So considerations may be, most high-end competition horses are at least sheeted when they're turned out. So I would say make sure he's sheeted when he's turned out so his buddies don't pull it off. Tentacles tend to come off a little quicker than other things. Teach the groom, trainer, owner, or rider how to do this application because it's something they're going to want to continue to do until the fascia is beautiful, smooth, and gushy underneath. And that's it. Super easy. There's your mock case study for a fascia application.